Guys, Dricus du Plessis is defending against Khamzat Chimaev at this weekend, and I'll tell you, there's no better way to turn up that excitement than with my partners at DraftKings Sportsbook. Right now, new customers who bet just $5 will get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Stay in on the action. Use your bonus bets in same-game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Love the thrill of live betting? Because DraftKings has got you covered. Bet live on in-progress games right as they happen. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Sports and have a shot at cash prizes. This is your chance to get in on the action. Download the DraftKings app. When you sign up, use my code Sonnen. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Caio Borralho is the backup fighter for this weekend's championship match. Dricus, Chimaev, anything happens with either one of them, Caio Borralho goes in. I think that you guys understand that. But, so, my partner already got out to Chicago. ESPN, already in Chicago. My bag is packed, a car waiting downstairs. I'm going to talk to you guys here, and I'm headed to Chicago. But the relevance is my phone's ringing. My partner just talked with Caio. Calls me up, Chael, did you know Caio was going to be the backup? Yeah, I knew he was going to be the backup. He said, well, did you know that he's booked to fight Imanov in 3 weeks? Now, a lot of you are going to say, yeah, I did know that. But guys, no, I did not know that. Or at least I knew that and then thought that I didn't know it. Let me explain. I knew that Caio was scheduled to fight Imanov. That was like very clearly the number one contenders match. But we as a community did encourage, and I can't help but think that our voices were heard, we did encourage the UFC to have a backup fighter. We never made a huge argument of who that should be. To Renner, just have him there. Caio, great one. Imanov. I mean, you've got like these three guys that very clearly are in a position right now to fight for a world title. Grab one of them, have them out there. And when they did grab Caio and they put him in the position of backup fighter, I thought that canceled out his fight with Imanov in 3 weeks. In case you guys are wondering, and I've seen so many comments in the section, Chael, how come you're never talking about Borralho and Imanov? And I've always wanted to set you straight and go, because it's off. Caio has signed a new contract for that of a backup fighter. In the history of the UFC, if you sign a contract that post dates, meaning the most recent contract you sign, it voids out any other deal that you had made. I've been in that spot. I was going to get a fight in Portland, Oregon, where I'm from. I was going to get a fight UFC in my hometown. Everybody's dream. And they needed me for a short notice fight. So I agreed to the short notice fight, which was in 3 weeks from the day that I agreed. But the other one that I already had was 3 months away. So I'm going to just do them both. This is great news. Like back then, it was hard to get a UFC fight. To get 2 fights, to know your future for 2 times in a row, this was this incredible thing. And Joe Silva laughed and he said, well, no, we're not also going to do the other one. We're just doing this one. And all of a sudden, it's like, well, wait, then nothing happened here. I'm at even. I just put myself in a very difficult situation, which was to do what I was preparing to do in 3 months, but I'm going to have to do it in 3 weeks. I thought there was a reward. I genuinely thought I was getting, he said, come on, you really thought you were going to have both fights? Like he thought this was my way of hustling him? But yeah, that's what I thought. I thought we're going to do this fight, but we still have that match. And the reason I tell you that is I can't remember a time this has happened. And think of what Caio Borralho just put himself through. And if put in his spot, I would do it the exact same way. And if I was advising Caio Borralho, I would have him do it the exact same way. But it doesn't mean that it is not an advantageous position. It doesn't mean that between the two, Imanov is in a better position by not having to do this than Caio. Listen to what Caio agreed to. So he's got to train and peak and prepare for this fight. Now, whether you get in or not, your preparation is the same, which means your same boxing coaches, just for example, your same jiu-jitsu coaches, just for example, your same strength and conditioning coaches, just for example, did their job, which means they get paid. When they peak you, travel with you, license next to you, and accompany you to the scale, they now get paid. So Kyle's got to go through that. And if he gets put into the ring, okay, he actually goes out there and competes. His fight with Imanov is off. I want you guys to understand that. When I tell you that athletes are not allowed 2 simultaneous contracts, if Caio's backup position gets activated to competitive position, his fight with Imanov is off. Doesn't matter if he wins. Okay, if Caio wins that fight and Imanov starts celebrating, oh my gosh, I'm fighting for the world title in 3 weeks. No, he's not. If Caio goes out there, fights, and gets beat, he is not then in 3 weeks going to go and take on Imanov in that main event spot. The only time that the fight with Imanov and Caio is preserved is if the backup position that Caio's currently in does not activate to a participant. And I think that's a little confusing. I mean, right? Like think of everybody's position here. Caio is doing what he has to do. And this risk is worth the reward. Now, should he not get in? And it's very unlikely that he gets in. This time, and this last 10 days specifically that have been dedicated just to making the weight class are all for nothing. And you're going to have to push that train forward, keep that discipline, keep that weight under control, because you're going to have to strike again in 3 months. It's not an advantageous position, but I must admit, it's not that bad. It's just uncomfortable and it's just unusual. It really isn't bad at all. He might even like it and enjoy it. But he doesn't know. I mean, it's an experiment. He doesn't know. He's never done it before. We don't have anyone that we can look to because they've done it before. And then imagine if you're Imanov's spot, right? Your opponent becomes world champion. You got a main event in three weeks. You're fighting for the world championship, except now you're not. Now, what would they do in that situation? Well, you could preserve the fight. You could take Imanov, who's a really good choice for number 1 contender, and you could take Brow. But I don't know that we would do that. I don't know if Caio Brow became world champion. He's probably would go right into an immediate rematch, do you think? If he became world champion, that would mean he has to beat Dricus du Plessis, and that would mean that Chimaev is out. If Dricus du Plessis pulls out, so the fight ends up being Caio Brow versus Khamzat Chimaev, they would have to instantly elevate that to an interim championship match, which, by the way, I think that they would, and I think we would all get that that's appropriate. An interim title match between Caio Brow and Khamzat Chimaev, I don't think that anybody's going to resist that. But you still now have a problem as it pertains to Imanov. Is there a defense of the interim belt? We've done that one time, but the only thing we know about the interim belt is that we adheresely stick to the rules that we make up on the spot. So, I don't know that it's Caio Brow that's losing sleep this week. I think the only thing that Caio Brow is losing right now is a few pounds. I think it's Imanov that's feeling that pit in his stomach of wondering, what does my future look like if